Hey, this is Spartan 300 Therm. Today I'm going to be playing Chivalry Medieval Warfare. So this game came out about is 2013, so 4 years ago. I believe 2009. I could be wrong. I don't know too much about game dates. And it claims to have a realistic depiction of medieval combat. Do I believe it? No. Is there anything wrong with them saying it? Nah, not really. People believe it, it's fine. Come on, Mason Order. Yay. I've never seen this map before. Oh, never mind. Okay, so we are defending. That's good. Easier to fight. Sorry. So, what's going on? An interesting thing I actually have noticed is that the Vanguard class and the Knight class aren't like different types of soldiers that would have been used in medieval combat. I'm not too good with my medieval history, but I'm going to try to get as accurate as possible. So the Knight itself is more of a 16th century, 14th century, and late 13th century Knight, while the Vanguard would be a 12th, 11th, and maybe even 10th century Knight. So, I mean, I understand why, and since they're not going by a timeline, they're going by like a fantasy universe, it's fine. But just some interesting historical inaccuracies that are fun to know. Sir Knight, you hide in the wheat! You have no honor! Hiding in the crop of peasants. Puh. You know, here, look. The bean can helmet is pretty, generic for a 12th century knight. The man-at-arms, I don't even know what he's supposed to be, and the archer is pretty obvious. And then, as you can see, the knight isn't exactly complete. As you can see, he's still wearing more of a leatherish kind of thing, but... Okay, so... my dating might not be 100% accurate, but, you know. So some of the reasons why I say this game isn't realistic is because, first off, it's like asking a blind man what's his favorite color. How can you make an opinion on something if you have nothing to compare to? Or at least, how do you make a comparison without anything to compare to? I mean, have you been in a medieval war? I don't think so. You'd be about 1,000 years old if you were. Even still, I can just generally tell simply because armor, is probably about 50 pounds. Like, that's gonna include your weapon, the helmet. Like, it's pretty crazy. So, can you really do this and not fall over? So the fact that this kind of thing happens in combat, as happens to the targets in the center, like, it's just a ridiculous concept. Also, battle formations would be, more generic. Oh. Sorry. Oh wait, that wasn't an enemy. Dang it, I keep on switching teams in this game, and I keep on getting discombobulated on which team I'm on. Ah, dang it. Oh, that missed. Got him. Lots of people are complaining about lag. How's my ping? Okay, my ping is pretty good. Actually, including fraps and a not amazing ping, I'm not lagging that bad. I don't know how this is going to be on your end. Probably the same as me. Die already! You have no friends! So, another issue is that they chose to do a fantasy universe kind of thing, a fantasy world, instead of going like historical, like 100 Years War. Now, I'm fine with that if they work on an actual story. The problem is that they didn't. And if you're going to make up your own universe, actually work on a story for it, because then you're spending extra work to do at least a small storyboard, and, like, you don't really have to. You can just, like, do the 100 Years War, you know? Because then you end up making up fights, and that further de-enhances, not sure if that's a word, but it further de-enhances the realism of combat. Also, I mean, you can look at the maps of what would happen. There are probably some pretty detailed battle records as to the, what's it called? The battle plans, the way the battlefield generally looked. Also, I mean, a really fun battle to fight, for instance, would have been the Battle of, I believe it's called Ashingor. Or for those of you who know the story of where middle fingering came from, it's that battle. Well, since I mentioned it, I may as well tell the story. So, what happened is that the English were famous for utilizing the longbow. So what would happen is that you'd pull the longbow back, and you need your middle finger in order to do it. So, and the French absolutely despised it. So every time they'd capture an English, well, they put in, actually, general English soldiers. Actually, I'm not too sure. If I were to say either one, I'd be lying, or could be lying. So let's just assume archers. They'd cut off their middle fingers. That way they couldn't do it anymore. And whether or not they release them is beside the point. So as that, then the Battle of Ashingore occurs, where I can't get into the details and strategies, which were pretty smart, and I actually think it was more due to luck, and they kind of worked with their luck. But the English soldiers, this happened during the 100 Years' War, which ironically lasted 114 years. So this happened during the 100 Years' War. So the French surrounded the English army, led by King Henry VIII. Nah, King Henry VIII was from like colonial times, pre-colonial times. Yeah, that's when the Protestant Church occurred. I think that was him. Yeah, so I think it was King Henry something. Anyway, so the English won that battle. So the French had this big party before it with all the good stuff, and they lost. So what did the English do as the French were walking to the prison camps? They showed their middle fingers to them. They say, hey, we can still use the bows, we can still use the bows, middle fingering them. And so that's where we have the middle finger today. You know, I wonder what's worse, to be mocked that you failed the battle and be middle fingered at, or to be middle fingered at today. With its whole curse relation. Dang, I cannot think while doing these videos. Anyway, so pretty interesting story of some historical battles, and it would be very fun to do it. Like, generally what happened is that sort of in between the French and English was a marsh. It rained the previous days, so the French would take a while to get across, so the English pretty much picked them off with longbows. It wasn't exactly strategy, it was more just luck, but, you know, it took some intelligence on the English commander's side not to try to surrender and still fight the battle. Well, if he surrendered, he'd probably be executed. Or ransomed off, which would be terrible. You know, live in a medieval dungeon, ouch. Actually, I think chivalry demands that you treat your prisoners well if they're knights. You know, one of the points of chivalry was not to kill someone of your equivalent social class from a different society. You generally look at, like, Western Europe, you know, the Spanish, not too sure about the Spanish, but the English, the French. I think the Holy Roman Empire would be included in that. You know, they all had, like, a knightly social class. As such, you know, it would be a shame to kill someone of that same social class. So chivalry sort of came up. You know, it also included respect for women, so on and so forth. So then, you know, you're supposed to treat your prisoner well. So that way, you know, it would also be a little terrible to abuse someone of your same social class. And actually, I think that technically Bushido would be comparable to what's it called, chivalry. Oh, are we close to winning? Nah. How far are they in this? Oh, this is team deathmatch? Wow. I didn't even know this match did team deathmatch. That's a shame. Still a fun fight. I was hoping to do team objectives simply because they add a little bit more flavor to the fight. You know, but to fight the Battle of Ashingore would be fun. You know, French and English, you know, lots of good battles happened during the 100 Years' War. You know, the French and English. You know, it'll be really fun, and you don't even have to be the archers, or maybe, like, it could be, like, there are certain rules that have to be fulfilled, and players are randomly assigned, but, like, they can say, preferred so-and-so type of rule. Team damage 11% for this guy who wants to be kicked. No idle time. I'm gonna let him stay. He can't have done anything that bad. You know, I have to say, these are pretty nice-looking maps. I mean, if you look closely, you see, like, the town pretty much looks like it's made of cardboard. But beyond that, I mean, it's pretty nice. I like how they actually went for a background. A bunch of nice things going on. Why are I not respawning? Oh, did they win? GG. Well, guys, that was Chivalry Medieval Warfare. I believe this video is much shorter than I was hoping for. Probably somewhere under 10 minutes. Or maybe time flies when you talk about history, and the history of middle fingering. Well, guys, a like and subscription are appreciated. See you next time.